Every Christopher Nolan movie. Ranked. Nobody makes movies like Christopher Nolan. From his beginnings with brain-twisting psychological thrillers with massive budgets, he's done things his way, drawing incredible performances from his cast. So today we took up the work of ranking his movies. Now, which are the best Christopher Nolan movies? And how would you rank them against each other? Please watch the video completely to know the answers to all of these questions, and comment down below your favorite Nolan movie. Also, don't forget to subscribe for more videos like this. Let's begin. Number 11. Following. Nolan's feature debut is unique right out of the gate. A non-linear narrative, manipulative characters, and a twist ending are represented in material form. The title refers to the habit of the lead character, who follows interesting people, but one of his stalking subjects turns out to be a criminal named Cobb. He robs people to make them better appreciate their lives, is definitely purely Nolan. This micro-budget, black and white thriller has its technical limitations, however, it shows hints of Nolan's greatness from surprise reveals in the story to the perfect use of music. Number 10. Insomnia. If you're in a Nolan movie, chances of you getting sleep are pretty rare. That seems true. Batman spends his evening standing on rooftops and glaring into the night. The dreamers in Inception wake up more knackered than when they are dozed off. Dylan Thomas versed that, Michael recites in Interstellar, nobody is going into gentle sleep. This is the movie adaptation of the Norwegian crime thriller about a troubled cop with a past who, while investigating a murder in a small town in Alaska, accidentally kills his partner and then tries to cover up his crime. Al Pacino is in the lead, and his character is plagued with insomnia brought on by the guilt of his past. Insomnia is an edgy, psychological character study, and while Al Pacino is great, it's Robin Williams' icy turn as the villain that makes the movie. It is a fine thriller, but when compared to his later works, it feels like a minor one. What do you think of this movie? Comment down below. Number 9. The Dark Knight Rises. In the final chapter in Nolan's Batman franchise is The Dark Knight Rises. This movie has one heck of an ending, and the trouble people had was understanding Tom Hardy's words as Bane didn't help things. It doesn't quite match either of its predecessors, and is quite less of an indictment for Rises, more an acknowledgement that Nolan had raised the bar nearly impossibly high. For all its flaws in a baggy middle act, people versus elite politics, it is still a thunderous final chapter. The Talia al Ghul subplot could have been eliminated with a rewrite, and the movie wouldn't have witnessed it. And Bruce Wayne's final scene feels like a studio note that belongs to another movie, but this movie perfectly captures the hero's feelings of helplessness. Anne Hathaway's jaded, sassy Catwoman was a plus, but Barry's plot holes, new characters, and the ending are not what viewers expected. Number 8. Tenant. This was released in the year 2020. Since day one, Nolan movies have been pushing the boundaries of how intellectually challenging his movies can be. We've been told early on in the film that we shouldn't try to understand, but we should feel it. That is pretty solid advice. The protagonist works in the employ of a clandestine organization to save the world. It is a dense, challenging sci-fi, heavily reliant on its twisting logic, so it won't be for everyone's taste. The magnificent score by Ludwig adds not just to the power of this movie, but to the legacy of the moving music that has been featured throughout Nolan's filmography. Number 7. Interstellar. The list becomes increasingly more difficult from here on out. Interstellar has some of the greatest scenes set in outer space. At heart, this is a short story about parents and children, about the fear of letting go, and the need to reconcile your dreams at the needs of your loved ones. At the same time, it is a movie about survival, about how planetary survival species, survival, and individual survival can conflict with one another. But Nolan ties up these concepts beautifully. But open yourself up to it, and Interstellar becomes one of the most emotionally overwhelming things you'll ever see. This movie becomes dry with science talks and Nolan explains too much. This movie would be on top of the list if it had simply fewer lines of expositional dialogue. Number 6. Batman Begins. Nolan reboots the Batman franchise with an expressive origin story that rides on the talents of its lead, Christian Bale. Nolan took the Batman character back to its roots, explaining how his trauma pushes him to become Batman. His take was both brilliant and deceptively simple. Batman has always been relatable. The superhero who did not have magic powers, just money, vengeance, and will. The orphaned billionaire decides to fight crime dressed up as a giant bat, with ninja training sequences, tank-like Batmobile, and an evil pharmacologic baddie. It's a thrilling ground-up reinvention. This grounded, psychological take was somewhat groundbreaking for the genre, and Nolan populated the film with great actors. Number 5. Dunkirk. Christopher Nolan mentioned that he intellectually built Dunkirk to play like a third act of any other film, just stretched across 106 minutes. This is even though the script for Dunkirk was only 76 pages, Dunkirk is one of the most authentic and suspenseful films ever crafted, as it puts the viewers inside the boots of soldiers on Dunkirk Beach. The use of vintage aircraft, lighting, special effects, and lack of dialogue win the day. This movie is referring to the British evacuation of France in 1940 as a result of early, disastrous defeat against the Nazis. The director interests 3 narrative timelines of differing lengths, which leads to some surprising twists and turns in the story. Number 4. The Prestige. Made between Batman Begins and Dark Knight Rises, this movie doesn't get the respect it deserves. In Nolan's filmography, based on Christopher Priest's novel, casts Hugh and Christian Bale as competing magicians in the Victorian Age, each intent on one-upping the other and discovering their secrets no matter what the cost. Bearing Nolan's trademark jumbled chronology, it's ingeniously structured like an illusion. It's a film about what it means to have an audience in the palm of your hand to deliver something that they never expected. Number 3. Memento. Memento is the film that put Nolan on the map for a good reason. This twisty thriller unravels in reverse order, with Guy Pearce's lead character trying to solve his wife's murder whilst dealing with a condition that prevents him from forming new memories. Memento provides Pearce with one of the best roles, allowing him to be a funny, tragic, and pathetic character. But the star of the show is the director's script. The combination of themes and various cinematic devices create an eerie and unforgettable film that forces you to question your memories. There is something to be said about Nolan's smaller films. They are often more grounded because they have to be, and that helps make Nolan's complex ideas a bit more palatable. Less is more, as they say. Number 2. Inception. Inception has one of Nolan's best movie moments, but also features some of the most paradoxical. The concepts of dream and reality are explored in really interesting ways, specifically regarding Cobb's relationship with his wife. Consider this for a second. Nolan made a movie about high-tech thieves who break into people's dreams and steal hidden ideas from them, but this time they are asked to secretly plant an idea in a person's head. So they go into that person's dream, but to hide their actions they have to go several dreams down. So they have to create a dream inside that person's dream, so they can go into the next dream and do it again. But they can't go too far down the dream levels, because if they do, they'll be stuck in the dream forever and their brains will melt. And also, each level of a dream happens at a different speed, so that 5 minutes in the real world is an hour in dream time. This is the plot of the movie. It's a masterpiece that could only have been made by Nolan himself. And on the top of our list, here we have number 1, The Dark Knight. The Dark Knight is not only Nolan's best work, but it's also a game changer for the entire superhero genre. This movie pushed the genre to new heights. The sequel improved on Batman Begins in every single way, exploring Wayne's quest for a normal life while questioning the boundaries he's willing to cross as Batman. The film also features Heath Ledger, an iconic Joker, who can switch between hilarious and terrifying in an instant. With a story that could easily have made 3 separate movies, and each set piece topped by the next one, this is a rare comic book film that earns the obsessive quality of its fandom. That's also because Nolan doesn't shy away from tackling philosophical, moral, and political issues. The Dark Knight has some truly unforgettable moments and some of the best performances in a superhero film. The film is all about chaos and the battle not between good and evil, but Nolan's his take on the natural conflict. What happens when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object, and how every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So, this is our take on ranking Nolan movies. Comment down below your order of choice of his movies, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. And I'll see you soon in the next video, folks!